this morning.
Joining us now to talk about this, Democratic Congressman Mike Quigley of Illinois. Of course, he sits on the House Intelligence Committee that is leading this probe. Sir, I know you thought this morning would play a lot differently. I think everyone certainly did. So the question now becomes, what are you going to do about it? Congress has the power to subpoena. He's there. He's ready for testimony. You have the power to hold the ambassador in contempt. What will your move be?
I think the first step would be to subpoena. That's going to be up to leadership. But I do think we have to follow the orders, the due diligence that's required. Obviously, the White House hasn't ever paid much concern to subpoenas, but I'd like to think that the ambassador recognizes their power, and in the end, he's going to be impacted by all of this. But if anyone's surprised by the White House actions, they have not been paying attention. The House Russian investigation was obstructed by this White House. The special counsel's report details just how the president obstructed this investigation. It's gone on since. Today's just another step in the president's efforts.
Okay, so you issue a subpoena later today. If the White House blocks Sondland, or Sondland himself refuses to comply, do you hold him in contempt?
Well, I think that's a decision we take step by step. I think it's the natural order that we would move toward, but I don't want to blow it all up if there's any hope. I may be wildly optimistic, but, you know, we're here and ready to listen. This is obviously a critical witness. I think if I feel anything after today is, I feel a sense of panic in the White House. You know, for the first time, the public mood about this has changed. For the first time, it's not just smoke, it's the fire that the public can see, and I think the president's reacting as such.
Well, speaking about the mood in the White House, our Jim Acosta has some new reporting this morning from someone familiar with the discussions inside of the president's impeachment team. Quote, the days of playing nice are done, unquote. So what do you think then, Congressman? Let's fast forward to Friday when you're supposed to hear from the former ambassador to Ukraine, Marie Yovanovitch. What do you think this portends for the possibility of that testimony happening?
Yeah, no, I smile because if they've been playing nice so far, I'd sure as heck like to know what playing dirty is. They have broken the law. They have done everything they possibly can to obstruct the Congress's constitutional right to oversight. They have attacked the rule of law. They have done irreparable damage to the integrity and independence of the Justice Department, the State Department, and the entire intelligence community. So what will this president do to protect himself? Apparently anything.
So, as you know, the White House, some Republicans making the point that they will not comply until there's been a vote in the full House launching an impeachment inquiry. That did happen in both the Nixon and Clinton impeachment proceedings. Is that something that you're opposed to, or would you support such a vote?
Look, I've supported a vote in the House involving an impeachment inquiry or whatever anyone wants to call it. But I wouldn't take the Republican effort as an act in good faith. They're playing games here. They're trying to make it difficult for Democrats to move forward from a political point of view. They understand the circumstances. They can also read the newspapers and understand exactly what this president has done so far. If they want the truth to go out, they should tell the White House to comply and let people testify. It is their power. If the tables were turned, they would want people who were brought forth to Congress to testify. They're establishing a case here where people can, if they want to or not. When you testify in Congress, you're testifying to the American people. That's an extraordinary power they seem to be willing to give up.
Congressman, to Jim's point about having a formal vote on this, it's something that former Congressman Beto O'Rourke said last night on this network he thinks would be appropriate and good given the weight of a moment like this. But if you look back at the impeachment inquiries into President Nixon and President Clinton, in both of those there was a stipulation that the minority was allowed to subpoena their own witnesses. So some are saying that is a reason perhaps why Nancy Pelosi has not called for this vote that would potentially give Republicans that power. Is that your read?
Look, no, I think the Speaker is doing this because she understands that the Republicans are playing a game. Again, I have no problem with this vote. I think it should move forward, especially with the news that we've learned in the last several weeks and the actions by the administration today. all bets are off. Let's move forward. Let's take the Republicans up on this game, because the numbers are moving in the opposite direction. And again, that's why I think the president is starting to panic.
Will this refusal or blocking, rather, of Ambassador Sondland testifying, will that end up in a potential article of impeachment for obstruction of justice?
You know, I heard it said best the other day, when the president obstructs, it makes one article weaker because you don't have as much evidence to present. But it makes the obstruction article so much stronger. And at this point in time, I believe there's multiple obstruction articles that this president would have to answer to. And today, if they go forward, is just one more part of that evidence.
All right, Congressman, we have 15 seconds left. Do you expect that Ambassador Yovanovitch will testify now?
Look, as I said, I'm an optimistic guy. After all, I'm a Cub fan, so I'll be here ready to go because that's my job. I hope that they believe in the Constitution as much as I do.
Yeah. Optimism, endangered species in Washington.
Jim's an optimistic Mets fan, so there you go.
It's more productive to be optimistic.
There you go. Congressman Mike Quigley, appreciate your time this morning. Thank you so much.